In this video we'll talk about how advanced developers can create menus that go beyond just standard lists of items. So when we click this button here to see an advanced menu, we can see a menu that highlights different aspects of what's possible in the menu object. So let's go through this menu and point out things that are non-standard. So first of all, you can see here that the menu has dividers. So when I look at this sub-menu over here, there's a divider between C1 and C2, C3. So there's that little divider over there. You can see the dividers are there and there and there as well. Then in addition, we've put an icon on the first menu item, and then we set the style of the text for the label on this menu item over there. Next thing you'll see is that the menu has a section header called title, so you're able to put any static text into the menu. So static text in the section titles are not selectable, so I can't select that item, and also if I use keyboard navigation I navigate directly over that that item. Then you can see here we have an input control where you can type any values into the menu, and then a button which can then perform some action using that value. So when I click this button here, we're going to close the menu down, and we'll go through the code that did that a little later. So now you can see here's a menu item that's actually a checkbox. So when I click on that menu item and then reopen it, I can see that that menu item has now been checked. These three menu items here represent a radio button. So when I, for example, click on the second item in this group, when I reopen it, I see that that button, that item is checked. These items that are displayed horizontally here, although they can actually be displayed in any tabular format that with as many rows and columns as you want, represent a radio group. So I can select a single entry. So for example, there I go ahead and click Wednesday, and now I can see that Wednesday has been selected. Next, we have a button here that does a get value, which is going to read all of the values. So let's go there and click that. So this is reading the value of the checkbox control, of the radio button control, and of the radio group. And then we can also set the value of those controls. So go ahead then press set, and now you can see we've set them to different values. So let's now go through the JSON that was used to define this advanced menu. So let's go back into the builder now and open up the editor, and then open up the JSON. So looking at this JSON, we can see here that the first item in the menu is alpha, and it has children. The first child is C1, and we've specified an icon and also a style, so that's why C1 showed up in red on the menu. Then you can see that the next item in the menu is a separator, so the separator is just single quote dash single quote, and there's the comment. Then there's C2 and then C3, so these are the children of alpha. Then the next item on the menu is actually item, and it has an optional property called prevent hide, and when prevent hide is true, then when you select that item in the menu doesn't actually close down. So the on-click event will fire, but the menu will stay open. So let's actually go back now and click on the item entry and see how that works. So I go back now to working preview and then click on item. So there's the on-click event firing, but if I hit the escape key to dismiss that, I can see that the menu has stayed open. So unlike other menu items, for example, if I were to click on C2, the menu will then actually close down. So you can use that optional keyword to prevent the menu from closing down. So let's pause now and pick this up in the next video. So we're continuing our discussion of the advanced menu, and let's go back now to the JSON that defines this menu. So we've seen how the prevent hide property can prevent the menu item from closing. Then you can see the next entry we have here is type equals title, and then the HTML of title. So this puts a title into the menu. So titles are entries in the menu that are not selectable, and they're styled slightly differently. Then the next menu item we have here is custom. And custom means you can put any HTML that you want into the menu. So in this particular case, we've put an input control. Over here we've given the input control some arbitrary ID. We've set the display style, that we've given a class of button, and then what we've done is in the on-click event here, you can see that we've used a special placeholder. We've said menu object dot hide. So this is going to give us a pointer to the actual menu itself, and now we're calling the dot hide method of the menu. So this is going to cause the menu to close down. Now this obviously, this on click event here could have done a lot more than just close the menu down. It could have read the value in the input control and perhaps done some kind of search for a value in the UX component. So this is a way to create advanced functionality by creating custom HTML controls in the menu. Prevent indent is set to true. That means that this particular menu item is not going to be indented, as all menu items generally are, to allow space for the optional icon that each menu item could have. We've also specified here an onInitialize event that fires when the menu is initialized, and this particular onInitialize event is actually setting the initial value in the input control. So you can see here that when we open up the menu, there's already text in the input control. So let's go back now, and when we go here and then open up the menu, we can see here that the input control has been initialized with a default value. So let's continue our tour of the JSON. And we've also basically defined an onFocus event that is going to give focus to the input control when the user navigates to that input control with the keyboard. So the menu supports keyboard navigation. So let's go back now and look at this. So go back to the menu and then run the menu. And now using the keyboard, press the down arrow. So I can see now that as I navigate into that input control, we give focus directly to the control. So going back to the JSON now. The next control that we have is a check control. So that was the control where you could where its value could either be checked or unchecked. And then when you create a check control, you can obviously specify the HTML that appears in the menu and also the associated variable. So in this case, we've said that the associated variable is check1, and we can use the set value and get value of the menu object to read and set that value. Then we have another separator, and now we have another control called radio, and in this case the name of the variable is RV1, RV2 and RV3, and sorry, the name of the variable is radio 1. So all of these three controls share the same variable name, but the value that gets set, in other words, the value that radio 1 gets set to depends on which of these three items were selected. And if this first item was selected, the value is set to RV1, set to RV2, or set to RV3. So let's pause now and then continue our tour of the JSON. So we're continuing our tour of the JSON that defines the advanced menu, and you can see now that we've put in another separator, and now we have this item called the radio group, which, as you recall, was displaying the days of the week in a horizontal list. So we actually said that there were 7 columns. If I were to go there and make that, say, 3 columns, then and let's go take a look at how this renders now. We can see that we're rendering it now in 3 columns, let's go back now and look at what's going on here. So when we look at it, we can see that we have our values, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and the associated variable is called radio group 1. So when the menu is displayed, one of these items can be selected, and the selected value sets this variable. So if you click on Monday, it'll set that variable to 1, otherwise it'll set it to 2, etc. So then lastly, we have the two buttons in the menu, the two items in the menu that get all values and set all values. So in this case, this is the menu object itself. So this .get value is going to read the value of the variable called check 1. This is going to read radio 1, etc. And then here we're going to use the set value method to set the value of the variable. So the JSON that we've shown over here demonstrates the various advanced features that you can use when building menus. You obviously, to take advantage of these advanced features, you need to use the JSON method of populating the menu. But to help you get started when you populate the menu, you can just see here that if I were to go and delete everything, there's a hyperlink in the text editor here, which will insert the JSON for you. So this can get you started very quickly with the advanced JSON. Thanks very much.